Well, I'm back again, and true to my form, it is in fact another 3 months since my last video. I think I started this project in July, and it is now, well, it's Christmas Eve, so we're 6 months since starting it. So I made some progress on it since the last time. I've finished this front section with all my Hirst blocks. I built up my railing here and did a little bit of damage here to this because this is supposed to be a ruin. I've also added a couple of, this is an inch, so these are ½ inch, so added in a couple of steps in here and did the same on this side as well. And you can see I've started adding in the gravel over the top surface. So usually you get gaps, like when you abut pieces up like this, but they get easily covered over by this gravel afterwards. And I use the gravel because, again, just like putting it on MDF, the gravel you can paint and simulate grass or whatever, and it doesn't fall off the piece like flock would. So that's why I use that. So I've also got my Oscilius pieces assembled. They're not ready to paint yet, but you can sort of see how this is going to go together. I actually cut this piece off here to make it fit a little bit better. So this I think I'm going to just add that there, so you can see it's a fairly tight fit, but that's kind of what I was going for. So and there will be space. There will be space here for a miniature out front, and I don't have them handy here, but this set comes with a couple of statues, and I've made it so that those two statues can be positioned here and here on either side of the doorway. So that's where I am with this right now. So next I'll continue to prime this, or assemble this, and then prime the terrain pieces and get them glued onto the top of here, and start painting. And I won't paint these up like the Oscilius set in Games Workshop. They painted up a really whitish color because that's the way it was in the movie, but I tend to go, oh, I have this right here. I tend to go with like a darker, this is an old 40K Gothic Ruins piece, and I've made probably dozens of these over the years. And this is what I'll do. I'll paint it black and just dry brush that gray. Yeah, so that's where I am. So it's been 3 months, but I've been busy and I'm easily distracted by other things. So like I have my Hirst molds, and I showed you the two that I had before. And since then I got 2 more molds. I got a floor tile mold, which actually makes these kind of tiles, which are handily enough 1 inch, so fits like a miniature, goes on there perfect, so makes up a nice little grid for you. So I may actually use some of those on the top of here. We'll see. They're a little thick though, so we'll see how that goes. And then I got this one here, which I don't know what it's called, but it's basically dungeon accessories. So it makes a whole bunch of like crates and barrels and different things. So I've got a bunch of those set aside here, which I'll show you in a second. But also I got distracted and started working on another building, which here's my floor tiles, and this is made again from my original Hirst block. The Wizard's Tower is for this one, and this is going on top of here. Let me see if I can move this back a bit. Kind of in the way here. So this is me to go on here. I gotta glue all this together still. So that's another building that I've got on the works. This one actually I designed it for Frostgrave. It's for one of their standard missions. so it'll come in very handy for that, but it's easy to use in any tabletop skirmish game. Hopefully that'll paint up really nice, and I can get that one going. And I dug out this monster here, which I made a few of these way back in the day. You can see this one was what I started with. That's kind of like your basic version of this Gothic Ruins set. And then sort of an upgrade from that is something like that, where you've got like the outline of a building. And then this one here is quite a bit larger piece and more involved. I think I probably made this one, I don't know, more than 10 years ago. I made a few of these and sold them on eBay way back in the day, and I had this one left over, and I had started painting it, but I used a paint that was no good, so I've re-primed it in the last little bit. So hopefully over the Christmas break I'll put a little work into that one as well. And I'll just grab this camera so I can show you these other pieces here. So this is what I've been like molding pieces like crazy. So these are the pieces from my dungeon accessory mold. So you see it comes like with like little sacks, and that's a single one, like a chest. This is actually supposed to be a dock. Like you run a bunch of these together as a dock out into a river, but I find it looks good as a pallet. And that's a steel door, and then that's like a sack of grain or something. Let me move in here. Barrels, and got nice chests here. This one's actually empty. These are difficult to get to turn out properly. You can see like a small bit didn't mold properly there, and there's a hole there, but I can work around that. And then that little guy, and then these big half barrels. It's like a giant beer barrel, and it actually goes together like this. So these are kind of for role-playing stuff, but we'll figure out something to do with that one. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 3 months. Obviously I get easily distracted. Find it hard to finish off anything. Oh, this is one that I've actually put together. That's like a little, that's actually on that dock piece, but I find it looks good as like a palette, so I added a few things there. So we'll make up a bunch of those type of things, use as scatter terrain. Anyway, that's it for now, and we'll be back in, I'm certain, less than 3 months this time. Take care, guys.